Hello makers. Today I am going to be doing a little bit of a different video. So I have a very large stamp collection. These stamps are from all over the world from the last over 100 years. And there are thousands of these stamps. And so I went through and I separated all of the stamps from 1960 through to about 2010 in the collection. And I am going to be selling them in bags of these stamps. And so I wanted to go through and show you what I did with them because some of them are beautiful. They're cats and flowers and birds and butterflies and things like that. And some of them are beautiful cultural representations or steamships and sailing ships and steam engines and things like that. And then other things maybe aren't so beautiful as far as for crafting. And so I kind of wanted to show you how I used these, even the ones that maybe aren't as desirable for crafting, and how really you kind of can't tell that they aren't like our favorite kind of stamps. So I want to show you how I did that and even how I covered up some things that maybe I found objectionable in some of the stamps because these are pieces of history and there will be people or, historical maybe movements or things like that that you may find objectionable. So you can see here that I was doing a paper mache ball for some bowl fillers. And then this is a clear bottle that I was given that I wanted to cover, and I actually purposely chose some of the less desirable looking stamps because I wanted to show how, see, that just the pops of color and that postage stamp border really are what draw your eye. It's not necessarily all the details on it. So once you collage these stamps all over whatever it is that you are covering. Then I went around it with distress crayons in brown on this one. This one was vintage photo I used on this. And then I wiped it all over it. And then I took a damp cloth and wiped it off. And you can see how it gave it just a vintage look. And then as you can see, each side looks a little bit different, but it's really the color that stands out. It's not so much what's on the actual stamp. And if there was something objectionable to me, and I knew who the person was, or I knew what it was, and it wasn't really something that I wanted standing out, then I put that on the bottom of the bottle, or I took another stamp and I kind of covered that up so you couldn't really tell what it was. Now you're going to see me do that again on this. This is a small globe that I got off Amazon, but I saw on Pinterest that they had done some big globes and I wanted to try it. Now again, I purposely pulled stamps that I didn't think would be that desirable. And so I used some of those on the bottom. This is the bottom of the um, globe, and you can see how I'm using other stamps to kind of cover things up that I don't necessarily want to stand out. I'm not a big soccer person, and so you can see how I use stamps to kind of cover part of that up, and you really can't tell that those are soccer players anymore. And then I use this one to cover with the person on the horse to cover up a bunch of space, but then I covered up most of it actually with this beautiful butterfly stamp. And so you don't really see that anymore. So anyway, that's just a way that I have found that I can use these stamps, but then use some smaller ones with flowers or something else that I really like and want to look at, and I can cover up other things with it. Now, both of these I did go over with Distress crayons in black and then wipe that off. And then this is a journal that I got off of Amazon. I covered the front, I covered the spine, and I covered the back, but I wasn't really careful and my finger stuck to this one with the train. And so I needed to fix that. And the only way I could think to fix it would be to cover it with another stamp. So that's what I did. Just put part of a stamp over that little area right there so that most of the stamp could show through, but my error was covered up. And then I covered all of it with stamps. There on the back was an elastic kind of a little thing that keeps it together. So I went ahead and put a cut around that. then covered it with Distress Crayon again, and this one was in walnut stain, and so you can see it's very dark on there. And then I took a damp cloth and I went through and I started to just wipe it away, and you can see how those in the center are a little lighter again. And then there they are, fairly light, and it just looks antiqued and wonderful. I love it. And so this is the front with that elastic closure. There is the spine, and then on the back, we have that. And then I just showed you how I cut so that the closure could be there. So that is pretty much what I did with all of these stamps that I have. And so, like I said, I am going to have these for sale on Etsy. Not only my samples, but also you can get a whole bunch of these stamps. There are some beautiful, beautiful stamps in there, and then some other stamps that you can just use for a base coat and then cover with the really pretty ones that you like or that resonate with you. So anyway, thanks so much for watching today with my little postage stamp projects, and I want to wish you a very creative day.